Well, I've been absent again from making videos for a while because I haven't done anything to the old Corolla, but I said I was going to do a walk around video, so I thought I might as well go ahead and do it today. I'm out here at 5 Mile Drive around where I live. Here it is. I haven't done a walk around since the paint job. It's out here in the daylight today instead of in my garage, which is a rare sight on video. I'm going to go over all the details and things I've done and things that I'm going to do soon in the summertime when it's a little bit nicer and not freezing out in the garage. I bought this car June 2018 and I just ticked over 10,000 miles since my ownership. So it's been a really, really fun car. I had a little bit of trouble with the engines I installed in it, just junkyard engines. More of that later. But it started out sitting forever, over a decade, and it's a really gross gray color. I'll just go ahead and overlay some pictures of some before and after when I got it. So around this angle is when I first saw the car in my neighbor's yard. So I'll go ahead and put what it looked like on the video. Ooh, nice M3. I believe I have a picture of the car from this angle when I first saw it. So yeah, as you can see, pretty nasty. And I'll go ahead and do this one. Yeah, so it's been a lot of work. I'm very proud of this car, even though some of the body work is so-so, but I did it all myself, and that's what matters. So I got a couple of paint quotes for the car, which were around $13,000 for a full respray and conditioning of the car. Wasn't exactly gonna pay that. Thought I might as well do it myself. So I chose this ivory white color, which is a pretty classic color for Toyotas from the 80s, and was never available on this car. Things I still want to do, I want to do the white line on these Koki taillights. These are later model headlight or taillights, so they just look a little bit better. I like these little side markers too. I didn't want to delete those actually. I have all 4 original mud flaps for the car. This car was optioned with the mud flaps, so a little bit dirty right now. I've been driving it on these dusty roads. This door was about the worst of the damage on the car. I think I have a picture of what it used to look like. Greased all the door handles and put new locks on the car also, so they actually work and they spring back just nice. Koki snowflake wheels I had sitting around in my backyard for like 5 years. I bought so long ago for one of my first 86s. The only lug nuts I had were these really long ones, and I need to get shorter ones because they look a little bit goofy on the car. But yes, I have all 4 center caps, which are super rare, and some shitty all-season tires. Like I said, all the mud flaps on the car. So pretty nice shine on the car. There's just a little dust layer, I guess. I actually was with a buddy of mine, and I didn't notice that I accidentally put one of the Zenki lights on this side and a Koki corner light on this side. So I'm an idiot. I never noticed that until he pointed it out. So I gotta go fix that and get that sorted. But it feels good knowing what the car looked like before and what it looks like now. I'm constantly chasing perfection, which I found to be a bit of a nightmare actually on an 85 model car. Decals I got from a guy on eBay, 100% replicas of what you get from the factory, except a good fraction of the price. So they're the strike through design, they're black, so they just add a lot to the car. For the bumpers, I just did a wrinkle black paint on these because they're really bad condition, and these bumpers do what's called spider cracking. The plastic just cracks really deep down in the bumper, so it's really hard to get them smooth, and basically got to hit them with a flap disc to get them 100% perfect. This is a carbon fiber hatch. It's a Sabon, I think that's how you say it. The hatch was really rusty in here, this area, and it had the factory wing on it, which is notorious for water getting into the mounting holes because they rub the paint through the metal, basically, those little plastic and metal screws that are holding it on, so they just rust right through, and basically the hatch was not savable within reason. So picked out this carbon fiber hatch and painted it to match because I don't really like having carbon fiber panels that don't match the car. Sunroof delete, so that was a big nightmare. I think that was about 30 pounds of Bondo in there and a big flat plate from my factory sunroof cassette welded in. Biggest nightmare on the car. I think I have about 20 hours in this roof alone, but it's well worth it because sunroofs don't belong on cars. They're just garbage. So all the wheels are in pretty good condition. It's really annoying having to clean in here. They've been sitting for a while, so I need to put some Griot's Garage metal cleaner on there and really do a deep clean. The car is super straight, as straight as I could possibly get it for my patience level, and I really think I did a good job because, oh my god, just what it started out before. I can't wait to see the before and after clips from this video. So I don't even know if any of this is interesting. I'm kind of just rambling along about the car. Factory Zenki grill, haven't restored this or tried to at all. Bumper's not really in good shape. I kind of did a pretty shit job on the bumper, to be honest. Still looking for a driver's side manual mirror. This one is in really good condition and it has zero play in it at all. I can actually see through it, so that's nice. Alright, so I guess I'll go ahead and start with the interior. If you're gonna paint a car, you always paint the door jambs, otherwise it looks like shit. So definitely go ahead and spray the jambs. It's well worth the hours spent on masking and painting and prepping and removing the body panels and stuff. So VIN plate looks good still. Everything's super smooth. Silicone these door seals a little bit to help them not crack. So these are actually, there's a little bit of polish on these, but these are brand new door hinges from Battle Garage. What happens is after 35 years of opening doors and closing them, and this door is not light. I think it's like 80 to 100 pounds just for this door. It's super long. So that stress on just these hinges alone causes the door to sag. So I put brand new hinges on. I put anti-seize on the hardware as well because these are notorious for rusting inside here, and the bolts just snap off inside. So not fun. Nice little SAE bullshit screw there. Sorry about that. Yeah, so new hinges, and now the door does not sag. What also happens when the door sags is, well, first of all, it doesn't close right. These close amazing, just like they should. What happens when the door sags as well, that this body line shrinks when you open it and crinkles this fender, wedges the door against the fender, and it's a really common problem on 86s and some older Toyotas with long, heavy coupe doors. So now I don't have to worry about that for years and years and years, which is nice because I worked for hours getting these body lines, panel gaps clean and uniform as they should be. You can tell they're all nice all the way down. So, which is really hard to do on a 35-year-old car. Right, inside. So this is all SR5 interior that I got with the car. My car originally came with blue and gray interior, which is awful in many ways, in my opinion. I don't really like blue interior, even though it screams the 80s. But I'm glad I got this black interior with the car. I had to fog a little bit of black dye on these because the paint chips off the top half of these over time. you know, when the sun's beating down on it. So these are fog black with a little bit of dye, and now they look great. And black door cups, which are uncracked, in good condition. Black door handles and surrounds with a nice little rusty screw there. And actually windows that work, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just really nice knowing that all this is cleaned up and painted and looking nice. Maybe if I give a fuck, I'll actually put some anti-seize on there and clean up that rust. So these are SR5 door cards, which means you get the door cups instead of the foldable pockets on the door card as well. And have all the pieces here, which is super rare, and no cracking or boot marks or anything. So pretty stoked about that. Door card's in really good condition. I had to put this little adhesive here because the door squeaks up against this plastic, which was driving me absolutely insane. So that's kind of an eyesore right there, but it's no big deal. And I think the ultimate flex in this whole video is the black uncracked dashboard, which is super rare, and I've had two 86s with crack-free black dashboards. So be jealous, because this is worth a lot of money. I sold the original dash out of this car, which was blue and cracked here, right by the clock, bezel, and I think right here. I sold the blue dashboard for $400 to some guy in California, plus $150 shipping. So that should tell you how much this is worth. Pretty nice climate control bezel, not cracked anywhere. Everything, you can read it. A lot of times these crack over time, and we don't really talk about this. The little cable is acting up in there, so good thing I live in Washington and I don't have functional AC anymore, so I actually removed that, and it didn't come with a condenser or any lines or anything anyway, so it's permanently warm in this car. And vents, of course. And the other day I actually cracked my clock surround, so I'm gonna have to spend $20 at Battle Garage for a new one, which is no big deal. These are one-time use only. As soon as you even think about removing it, these things crack because you have to pinch them from each side and sort of get under there, and there's these little clips on each side which are very, very good at holding this thing in. So I thought I could change this color, the clock, but it's actually not possible because I did the orange bulbs here. So I wanted to put the orange clock like the Black Limited has, but unfortunately that's not good. Original cigarette lighter, a little rusty but never used. Clean ashtray. VDO gauges, which are the only gauges I run in cars. They're amazing, and they're also orange as well. Orange bulbs in them. I don't know if you could see the difference. There you go, you can kind of see that. So they match as well, and so do these. I put orange bulbs in everything because it looks great, and that's kind of what I had in my SR5 with the 20 valve. Everything I've done to this car, I've tried to replicate that car and the way it felt. That's kind of the build ethos of this. I also went ahead and removed the coolant temp gauge as well as the oil pressure gauge, because I have these, which means I don't really need those anymore, and they didn't work anyway. Both of them, the resistors were bad and the needles were seized. I could stand to get a new headlight switch, but a little bit faded. My wiper one is almost brand new, which is nice to have. We didn't get that intermittent wipers in the US, unfortunately, so it's a Japan only option. I mean, obviously these are intermittent, but variable intermittent wipers, which is sad. Oh yeah, another flex. Working bulbs in here. How many 86s have that? Yes. I love it. The one thing left from the blue-gray interior, besides these seats, which are going away pretty soon for some Recaros, is this hood release. I don't know where the other one is, and I can't find it. Should have vacuumed the car before this video. So this Momo Corsa has a pretty funny story behind it. I actually bought this like 4 or 5 years ago from Greece, and it got lost in customs or just in general shipping, and got lost for about 5 months. I got a call from the post office saying that I had a package and I had no idea what it was. Gave up on it, and I went there and I got the steering wheel. I've had this in all of my cars since my Beams 86 hatch, which was the first video on this channel. And that car I built 4 or 5 years ago. And I've had this in my JZX81, the 20 valve car, and my Land Cruiser, the FX16, and a couple others, and now this car. So it really means a lot to me, this wheel. I have a lot of history with this wheel, and you know, I wanted to put it in this car, obviously, because I had that. I also had this in the 20 valve car, which I want to make this car feel exactly like that car did. This shift knob I got from a buddy of mine who was visiting here on a visa from China. He got me this as a gift randomly, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. So I'm going to run this until it falls off. And even then I'm going to find a way to run it, because that was a really cool thing he did. Who does that? Who just randomly gets somebody a shift knob? That's sweet. So I'm going to run that forever. I put new shift bushings in here, so it's as tight as it could possibly be for plastic bushings. This lumbar support still works, which is funny because I'm going to actually be getting rid of these seats. They're in really bad condition. It's one of the biggest eyesores of the car. All these back supports just chip away over time and it just looks really bad. So unfortunately they're going away, but maybe I'll have them restored instead. I don't know. Other door card in good condition. A little bit fingerprinty. And up here I actually have a auto dimming mirror from a Range Rover. My dad got this for me like years and years ago, and I never ended up putting it in anything. But yeah, auto dimming mirror, and it works. I wired it up, so I'll go ahead and show you if I can find the keys. And has a compass as well, so now it should be dimming away. So this is simulating cars from behind. It actually works really, really well at night, but unfortunately it's daytime, so I'm gonna turn it off. Back to clear. I'll probably speed that up because how slow it is, but yeah, this is really nice to have. And I just kind of clip the wiring under this little trim piece here. Alright, now time for the trunk area. So there's a carbon fiber hatch. The inside is unpainted just for flexing reasons. Original parcel shelf, which I haven't tied these up yet because I'm a little terrified that these are where they actually are supposed to hook up to, and these defroster lines are super fragile, so I'm not going to be doing that. So under here is like around 80 to 100 pounds of sound deadening, which goes all under the car up to the firewall. So this actually lowered the decibel level of inside the car significantly, which I actually have a real decibel-o-meter, and makes it really nice. So this is really thick. I think it's 80 millimeter thick sound deadening. A couple of people wanted to know what I did about the rust hole that was here. I just put a flat plate here in the trunk and sealed it up, and I covered it with this sound deadening. So I just left these little fuel wires for the sender unit and the fuel pump, so I could actually access it, and if I really need to replace the brand new pump for whatever reason, I could just cut this out, no problem. So that's what I did, and yeah, it's really quiet. This is the best thing I did to this car. If you ever drove an older car with really harsh aftermarket suspension bushings, then you'll know what I'm talking about. They just make a bunch of noise and are generally pretty loud on the street. So this negates that, and it's fine. It's really quiet. So still don't know what this is. I have no idea. Just a bunch of glue with a zip tie in it. No idea. This is the carpet from the SR5 hatch parts car that I got with the car. I'll put the video of the trunk as I found it over this video. So that's that. I wanted to paint as many of the jams as I could, except for the engine bay, which I'll show you right now. This video is already 25 minutes long. Is anyone still watching? I feel like I'm just monotone rambling as usual. But hey, a video is a video. Alright, I'll kind of make this quick just so it's not 30 minutes of me talking. Okay, underhood insulation. Looks like I used Elmer's glue with tin foil, but I promise it's actually real insulation. And just to protect the paint on top of the hood, because if you ever driven an old Toyota or older car in general, these single layer thin metal and the exhaust right here just makes the rainwater steam up on the hood and makes it look like your car is overheating. Not a good look. In here is a Frankenstein junkyard garbage 4AGE that's been super reliable and is actually really torquey and fast. So this block I got with the car. This isn't the original engine for the car, and it is a Geoprism 1.6 with the 10.3:1 high comp. It's a 7 rib 4AGE, which is the strongest one you can get, and this is like I said, the rare high comp version, so I'm pretty stoked to have that. And it actually does, 10.3, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Just a random collection of parts. This is a AE92 junkyard head I got, and it is a big port head. The only reason I got a big port is because I cannot find a small port fuel rail, which if you have one, nah, I'm not going to buy one. Who cares? Double oil caps, all the lines going through here, vented to the intake, and going to this Cusco catch can, which I actually needed because going over mountain passes, I started to burn a lot of oil, so not good. Now it's all ventilated to a catch can, so that was really cool. What else? TRD head gasket. I re-ringed this block after running in the car and finding out the rings were seized, so I had to take it out for the 3rd time, put new rings in it, and used ACL bearings for the crankshaft bearings, the main bearings, and threw it back in, and it's been sweet ever since, thankfully, because that was getting old. T3 lightweight crank pulley, because mine was separating in garbage. T3 torsion rods down there, Heim joint ends. I have brand new LCAs and sway bar end links. There's not one original bushing on this car, so that's pretty nice to have, and it rides like brand new. So yeah, all new wheel bearings and stuff, brand new brakes, Brembo rotors in there, which you probably can't see that well, and Porterfield pads, I think, front and rear, which I also got with the car. Yeah. So yeah, rides like a dream. It really does ride like a brand new car. So I have this shitty HKS filter wiring spaghetti. Really, it's not too impressive under here at all. Just Frankenstein engine, junkyard cylinder head block I got with the car that's been sitting on a shelf for like 10 years. And just a random, I think this is the intake that came off the car originally, so that's pretty cool. And it's probably the only original thing left on this. I have this, I think it's a Martellius header I just installed the other day, which is really nice. These are available at battlegarageRS.com. I think it makes it so much more responsive, and it sounds a lot better, and you could replace your crappy, cracked, original cast manifold, which I did. So I actually do need to replace that O2 sensor. It is going bad, check engine light and stuff, so not good. Sometimes it goes on. Cusco carbon fiber strut brace to top it off. This actually does make a huge difference in a 35-year-old car. It really helps the chassis flex going up and down corners. I got this header off my buddy Josh, who also has a pretty cool 8.6, so I got a deal on that, and he threw in this heater control valve, which was nice of him, because mine was bad and it was original. It was just clogged up full of rust and stuff, so not good. Yo. Hey. So that was funny. I just ran into a guy I've known for like a couple years, on and off. He used to work where I worked, and I had no idea at the time. And I saw him at the More Skids meet and a couple other random places, and he just happened to show up while I was filming a video. So that was cool. Shout out to JT. He also has an 86, which we were just talking about. That's pretty cool. I don't know where I was. I think I was filming this. I had to replace that the other day. Yeah, that's my junkyard spec 16 valve, which I love, and it's very reliable. It sounds great. New master cylinder, painted the booster, new clutch master and slave down there. Toda lightweight flywheel, exit clutch, and it has the best shifting T50 I've ever experienced in my life. So it was probably rebuilt sometime in its history, I guess, because it does not grind any gears, and the second gear is not worn out, and you could go into second gear at any time, which is super rare for T50s. I've only experienced this one not hesitate to go into gear, so that's pretty nice to have. And yeah, it still has the Cusco N1 links and T3 traction rods, which are kind of hard to see, but there they are. And Heim joint panhard bar. It's the original, it's actually not the original rear end. This is a Koki rear end, which has bigger axles. I have no idea when that was put in there. HKS Sport exhaust. Definitely sounds great. I got this from Battle Garage. And I get a lot of stuff from Battle Garage RS. They have like the best quality parts for the best prices, so that's where I get all that stuff. And they sent me a couple goodies the other day. Actually, it was like a couple months ago, but the other day means a couple months ago. So I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of shit. That's the car. I love it. And my dog's in my front seat, which I'm very mad about. No, go back, go. I live in fear that he's gonna crack my center console lid. I guess I could start it up actually. Let it warm up again. I was just talking for like an hour, which is always fun. Alright, I think that's it. So, thanks for watching. See you next year. So basically, yeah, it's basically they basically